Yes, people. Welcome back to GunnersHub. I appreciate the love and support as always. I've had a lot of messages and people getting at me, the videos and when's the next one. So I thought it was only right I do a season roundup. We've got Benji and Dwight with me, joining me on the season roundup podcast today. I'm excited to have you guys on, so I appreciate you coming on, man. It's love every time. So it's I'm going to start off for me for the disappointment. Obviously missing out on the title by 2 points. It's painful, really. Ending it on 89 points and Man City 91 points. We got closer than last year. For me, there's progress, definitely. I mean, 2 years now, title challenging. That's big. That's big for Arsenal. I feel like we're getting back to making a statement and showing people now we are who we are now. We're Arsenal. Like don't belittle us. Don't make us feel small. So that's one argument. But there's another scale of Arsenal fans, that are hungry for the title. They want trophies. They're not patient. So it's a difficult one, really, because I'm more calm and I'm happy to be patient, but at the same time I want trophies as much as Dwight and Benji must do. But we'll get their opinions. We'll start with you, Dwight. How do you oversee how this season went? Do you feel like, after seeing this season, we'll stick with Arteta and we'll go from there. What's your overview of this season, how it went?
Yeah, so obviously we're all disappointed that another season has come to an end and we are trophyless. I think that is a key word. A club that loves keywords, project phases, all of that stuff. A key word is trophyless. It is progress, but it's not success. I have to make that clear from my end. I don't see this season being a success, unfortunately. But a blind man and his dog can see that the club has made progress. But for Arsenal Football Club, the third biggest club in England, we have to be lifting silverware, man. We have to be reaching finals constantly. And for me, this process, this regime, this project, there needs to be silverware added to it. Obviously, ideally, the bigger picture, as we all know, is the Premier League. But if we can't win that, we have to add silverware to it. This young squad, Saka, Saliba, Rice, Odegaard, Martinelli, Gabriel, Ben White, these guys need to be lifting silverware, man. And it will do no harm to win a Carabao Cup to add to the progress, to keep adding fuel to the fire, man. So yeah, overall, I'm disappointed that we've come to yet another end of the season trophyless. All that was put in at the start of the season, that look, it's challenging again, you have to win and this and that. It's been very disappointing. It's been a good feel. It's been a good feel of the season. Of course, like we've had some great memories. I've only been to one game this season, unfortunately, and that was the Porto game at home. Atmosphere, lovely, electric, and I can see why the majority of match-going fans are really behind it, because they're there, they're feeling it. It's energetic, it's electric. But at the end of the day, you cannot come out of a season being Arsenal trophyless. This regime, 4 years in, needs to be adding silverware to it, man. So yeah, overall for me, disappointing.
I have to echo a lot of what you said there, to be honest. Benji, what's your overview on the season? How are you feeling?
I think the season was very progressive from last season. I think when I look at the whole project, we've got to look at it from when we started with Arteta till now, and we've come a long way. You know, I wasn't an Arteta fan when he first started because I thought, you know, he's a fresh manager that has no experience. But where he's positioned Arsenal at the minute, I'm thinking to myself, okay, the only thing that's missing now is that winning mentality. So as much as we missed out on a few cups this year and we missed out on the league, if I compare it to how we capitulated last year, we have progressed massively. I think winning the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, to get that taste of winning, will push us over the line for the Premier League and even challenge for the Champions League. You know, there are times when we play really good football, but at the same time, we need to have that winning mentality. I think we can add one or two players to the squad. I don't think we need massive amount of spend this year because we've got a nice unit, we've got a nice foundation, but
definitely.
we don't need to go overboard and start, you know, messing up what Arteta's doing because he's done a good job. It's just that we just need to get our foot over the line, and it's the winning mentality. Man City and Arsenal this year have been on parallel, just to the fact that Man City have the belief. That's it. They've won cup, they've won leagues, they've won this. The difference between them and Arsenal this year was the fact that they believed that they could win it again. Where we need to believe that we can win it. That's it. We lost 2 Premier League games. Sorry, someone was walking out. We lost 2 Premier League games this whole calendar year. You can't be upset with that.
No.
You know, when we put pressure to the last day, when last year we had the league in our hands and we threw it away. So you got to look at that and think we've progressed massively. However, to put ourselves in a better position, we just got to believe. So I'm disappointed that we didn't win the league, but I'm not disappointed in Arsenal because Arsenal have come a long way. And I think we live in a society of like a microwave mentality where we want success straight away. It doesn't work like that. In nothing, it doesn't in business, in anything that I do in my life, anything that I've seen successful, it takes time. It's magical 4 or 5 years. So I do believe next year we're going to win something, but I can't tell you what. And I do think I think we can win the league. I just hope that Arsenal players also believe that too. That's it. Yeah. So this year, if I was to summarise, disappointed that we didn't win because we only lost by 2 points. But I'm very happy in the direction that Arsenal's going. We just need to win 1 or 2 things, and that's it. We're nice.
I agree. What Arteta's done and how the team are playing, and we're going on these runs. Do you know what? We was our own hurdle this year. We was our own hurdle. That is what is hurting me more. Because
can I ask what the hurdle was? Sorry, Mon. Sorry to. What was the hurdle? Let's dive into that a bit because
I'll give you the hurdle. We had a home game against Aston Villa, and we thought about the pressure of not winning that game more than actually the success of winning that game. Yeah. I'll give you another hurdle. Another hurdle would be the fact that we looked at the league so much that we didn't think about the other cups. So even if we won the Carabao Cup or even if we won the FA Cup, that would have gave us more belief going into next year. So as much as Man City done what Man City done, should we have lost at home to Aston Villa? Nah. Put too much pressure on ourselves.
Yeah. Look, I think as well, you're right. We didn't lose to City or Liverpool once this season. If I go back, and I just want to touch on some of the points you were saying, Benji, some of the excuses since Arteta came in was it's not his squad. He hasn't had a transfer window. The toxic players, the players are not his. A youth project. All of that now is gone. right? So he's got all his players in. The youth project is still very much alive. All the toxic players are gone. And when you said about the people coming in not tweaking it too much, I think now is the time to add a few players to solidify this whole squad. So we can't come into this transfer window in the summer adding more prospects or maybe players or unproven players, because that would just continue slowing this process down. It took long enough, but Arteta's got this squad, Eddie's got this squad it's a good squad. We look at this squad and we love it. Like, let's be real. We love it because the passion they show, the quality of football they have on the pitch, the fight that they have, how technically they are, and etc., and how young they are as well. We just need, I think, a gunman striker, someone that can add some sort of fear factor to the starting lineup. We need a bad boy midfielder to complement this whole unit. If we go into this transfer window messing up and we're going to probably bring a player in that will need time to settle in, we're just going to be rinse and repeat. The excuse of they haven't been playing, it's a new to the league, he needs to learn Arteta's way of playing. We need 3-4 ready-made players to go into that starting lineup. And if not, I've said it in the group chat before, go machine for machine with starting 11, starting players. So Saka, if we get someone off his ilk, if not better, and Saka's not on it, Saka, do you know what? Hold bench. Same with Havertz, same with Rice, same with Saliba, same with Trossard, same with Martinelli. That way, everyone, every game is on it. And then that way, we'll start getting better results. That way, when we have to play Aston Villa at home and we have a Champions League game the next 3-4 days, we don't have to bring a Jesus in that's on fire. We don't have to bring a who did he bring in? Was it Jorginho in midfield? Or I think he did play Jorginho, didn't he? He played Georgie, Havertz, and Odegaard in midfield, didn't he?
Yeah.
That stinks. That stinks up. That midfield, honestly, that stinks, especially around that crunch time of the season. It's not good, man. So for me, had enough excuses in the 4 seasons now that I said earlier. Now it is goal time, and that for me is a priority. Kroenke to cough up the bread, Eddie and Arteta to identify the players needed to come in, but also out as well. Good. El Nenny's gone, Cedric's gone. These fringe players are gone now. We can't keep having fringe players and expecting to challenge with City. Can't do that. We can't do that. So, yeah, the next couple months is going to be interesting.
Very interesting. Just on transfers, because you're saying about, to be honest, I agree. We need ready players. We need immediate starting 11 players. Not when. I know what I feel like. I know what we need. We just need a few more players. Don't need to, interfere or interrupt what we've got going on now, because we've been playing so well. We're doing well. We was like I said, we was our own hurdle, and if we just got that right, we would have won the league. If we maybe had a different mentality at that point of the season. I'm gonna ask you both. I'll start with Dwight first. How many players do you think we need to sign, not to compete again, but actually get over the line? How many players do you think we need to sign in the transfer?
So definitely, I think we need 2 in the front line. One being the focal point of the attack, and then we definitely need someone challenging Saka.
100%.
Reece Nelson's here, but honestly, I can't tell you how many minutes he's played. So that's 2 definitely in the front line. I think we need 2 in midfield. Partey, rumours of him going. But
right.
then if he does stay, he won't be playing as much minutes. So we need someone to play that 4 role that allows Rice to push up. Because you saw when he came in and next to Partey, but Rice was playing a bit further forward. We were playing some lovely football, and it was scintillating. And I think we need cover at the back, centre back. We got very fortunate that Gabriel and Saliba played the majority of the season. Saliba, I think Saliba played every game, didn't he?
Played every game, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So Kivior comes in. Are we going to maintain that same standard? I don't think we are. I think Timber will come back. So I think that's really good. So I think 5 players, 2 up top, 2 in midfield, and a back, and then I think we can win it. And especially because players are leaving as well, so we can recoup the bread from sales to then add to the incomings. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think 5. Don't ask me who, because it's not my job. That's Mr. Edu guy. But I think 5 for sure, man.
Yeah, I agree. 5 definitely needed. What do you think, Benji? What are you saying?
I don't think we need 5 per se. I think we need around 3 players.
Mm.
Sorry, Benji,
A striker.
Can I just remind you that we're gonna have more games in the Champions League, by the way.
I think we need 3 players. I think we definitely need someone up front to help. Someone really to replace Partey, and covering. I like our defense, but someone just in case. I think 1 in each spot, but that's about it. I don't want to. The thing is, you don't want to add too much to something. You don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen. So if you add too much and you change it too much, the solidity and the foundation that we've got could change. You don't want that.
It will change. It's going to change. You can't expect it to be.
No. I don't mind the change. Change is good, but not too much change. That's
my.
I'm saying personally, 3 people, 1 in each spot.
Yeah, 5. You think 5, Dwight? Really?
Guys, let's remind ourselves, right? We cannot just have 11 players. We cannot do that.
But we still got subs.
And that's my point. Who are the subs? So we need what, 3 or whatever to come into the starting 11 now, and then to boost the bench. So now our bench is not looking healthy. So I'm saying the 5 that we bring in will cover the starting and boosting the bench, taking in consideration players leaving. We can't keep Nketiah on the bench. We can't keep Nelson on the bench. We can't keep, Cedric and then he was gone, and they were on the bench a few times this season. So we can't keep those, and they're leaving. So then they need to be replaced. Are we going to bring Lokonga back? Are we going to bring Tavares back? So they have to go. So they need to be replaced as well. So I think 5 is a very realistic number to come in, like I said, to challenge the starters and add depth on the bench.
I can go in the middle of that and say, like I said, nothing less than 3 new players. 5, could do that. As long as it's between 3 and 5, so say 4, I would agree with that. But not too much change, because too much change will change the whole ethos.
Why do you think that, though?
Because you've got to integrate the players. You've got the players that, because we've got a nice core, you just got to add to it. So I agree, we need new players. But again, you know what? Sometimes you're saying that you could get 5 good players, as long as they fit into what we're dealing with. That's cool.
Yeah, no.
Because you could get 5 good players. 3 of them will challenge for starters. 2 will be good for any injuries or subs. So I don't think the amount's important. I think it's the actual players that are important.
I'm going to say it's both, Benji, man. Because like I said, because you said the core, we have a good core, agreed with you. But in that core, you would say Partey is a part of that core. If Partey goes,
No, he's not really been about. He's not really been about it this year.
no, hold on. I'm talking about, if we're talking about position based, we're talking about Partey, Odegaard, Rice, Havertz is a part of our core, really, isn't it? I can't count Jorginho as a part of our core. I cannot do that. So talking about Partey leaving, our main midfielders are Rice, Odegaard, and Havertz. So
Yeah, so replace him.
one needs to come in already. So one needs
No,
to
I
come
know.
in.
I said that. Replace one in each spot minimum. So get a forward, get a midfielder, get a defender. If you add 2 more players, they've just got to have the right mindset. Because I've seen it so many times. You have a good core, and then you add too much things, and people are like, what's going on? It's because they've got to adjust. The team's changed drastically. We've just got to be careful. As much as we need people in the team, it's important who we get in the team.
That I'm going to respect that, and I agree to a certain extent. But let's not forget the position that we're in now. We've come so far to not get this build or this part of the build right. You cannot build a house and then get to the roof and then mess up the roof. You cannot do that. You have to.
So that's why from that very point, it's more important who we get into the team.
Yeah. No, 100%. But I think the 5 is what we need, because remember, I have to highlight our bench is horrible. So you've said we need 3 starters coming in.
No, I said I agree with you. I said 3's a minimum. I can compromise and say if you're going to bring in 5, just be careful who the 5 are. I agree with you.
Yeah. So look, I think Havertz up top or midfield, that has to be sorted out. I think, if we know Havertz is the guy, so whatever, but we need someone that will just always be in the box. In a certain game, it can't be a false 9 situation. It just might have to be someone that will always be in the box. Because you know how it is, we work it wide, we swing it back round to the other side, and that lovely cutback, we just need someone operating in that middle. Because
yeah, like a Tony or someone.
Yeah, because Odegaard, he has a lot of goals where we'll cut it back and he'll arrive at the penalty spot or just past it at the edge of the box and strike it. We need him and a striker that can. So we're sort of adding more numbers to our attack in the box. So we have 2 to aim for. We might cross it in the air for our full striker, but then Odegaard's in behind, or Hertz is in the half space or whatever. So it'll be interesting.
Tiger, what do you think, Monique?
I don't want Arsenal fans to think when Dwight said 5 and I was like, what, you think 5? Like, I'm not saying it because I'm in like shock or anything. I think it's just maybe I need to sit back and actually analyze it myself properly and deep it. Maybe that is what we need, really. I personally had maybe 3 or 4, but realistically, Dwight has made some really, really good points. Jorginho signed another contract. Is that already one less signing? One less signing, if that makes sense. If he's already held down a contract, Jorginho, they've offered him another contract to extend for another year. So it's like we needed. I mean, this is no disrespect to Jorginho at all, because he has been, he's been very good when he's come in. I don't think I can remember a game really that I think, you know what, I point to you and you're the one that has, disrupted what we're doing, or a result's gone another way because of Jorginho. I can't say that. I can't sit here and say that. I think he's come in and he's done long story short, he's done a job and more, in my opinion. He has done a job and more. He's done, considering the pace and everything. I just feel like his all-rounded game. He's very intelligent. That's the way I can explain Jorginho, and I think that's what we need. I really do. Arsenal fans will be like, "Nah, man, you're not. This is not what we need. We need winners. We need, yeah, but a player of his caliber that's a good addition as well. That's also what I'm not saying stick with him. I'm saying get other players as well. But I feel I'm just giving him the praise that he deserves. I think he's done a job and more.
I agree. I'm not going to throw my hands up in the air about Jorginho signing another contract.
No.
I think him being in the squad and playing the role that he will, I think we all know he'll be playing, is not a problem.
No.
But if we're saying that he's going to be a mainstay in the starting 11, that is where concern and issues. I think we know what our back line is. It's going to be Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber.
Yeah.
Ice, another midfielder with Odegaard. Yeah, so that means really that might mean Partey goes to the bench or he gets sold. Then we know the front line is going to be Nelly, Havertz, and Saka. So then on the bench, we're talking about replacing Reece Nelson to challenge for Saka. We're talking about Trossard already there. We need another midfielder in there, and then Jorginho or whatever it is to boost. I just want us to get to a point where we're not finding ourselves complaining about squad depth and quality. There's no point in saying, "Oh, we've got a great starting 11, but our subs are not sufficient." At this point of this phase, process, project, whatever it is, we can't stand in Arteta's, fifth full season? Fifth, second. Oh no, this will be this will be his fifth full season. Be in the first, the starting game of the first, the fifth season, saying, we don't have squad depth.
Yeah.
Like, what were we doing these past seasons and years? These transfer windows, January and summer. What's the excuse there? So we've got a very good core, as Benji said. We've got a very good 11, but we need to add to that, and I think we should be all right. I just want to bring it back to the points, some of the topics you and Benji brought up about the season, and I know I've caused a lot of ruckus in the group chat. I'm not too sad about the Premier League, because the Premier League, that's our bread and butter, and we pushed.
Yeah, we done what we could.
They done exceptionally well, but as I've said, look, if you cannot beat City to the Prem, win something else.
Yeah.
In something else. And that's the point I talk about Liverpool. Oh, they're saying, Liverpool only won the league once. Klopp only beat Pep once. Yeah. That is very true. And although, he went further with Pep, there was one season where they only lost once and still lost. So they even pushed them further and also going deeper in cup competitions. So whilst they were doing that, they couldn't win the Prem. They picked up an FA Cup. They picked up a Champions League. They picked up a Carabao Cup. And that is my point. Okay, cool. We know how great Pep is. But don't neglect all the other cups. Go head-to-head with Pep. Not beat Pep and then expect us to be happy with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you put all your eggs in the Prem basket and you win it, hats off, lovely. But if you do it and you don't win, you have to be held accountable to that, and that can't be acceptable. So that's just where I'm standing with it. The Premier League campaign, disappointed, but it was brilliant. It was fantastic. But what about the Champions League? What about the FA Cup? What about the Carabao Cup? And the reason why I said the Champions League, I think you remember last season, Mons, I said I would have been happy last season going all out in the Europa League and then seeing what we can do in the Prem. Because at least then you've added silverware to the club. You've added like a more value to this process as well. Do you know what I mean? And you've added longevity to it, and you've given this young squad saying, look, like, you know what I mean? Unlucky about the Premier League, but listen, hold that Europa League, man. You can't be mad with that as a fan.
Mm.
But again, we crashed out FA Cup, crashed out Carabao Cup. This was 2 seasons ago when we finished second and we crashed out early. And then we pushed City. Saliba got injured, and then we're saying, "Oh, we go again next season." This season comes again, crash out of the Carabao Cup, crash out of the FA Cup. The Champions League was just going to be. It was just like I didn't have any expectations, if I'm so honest with you. But you know, we should have won something, man.
We should have, and that's what hurts more because of the way we were playing. The football was at times just phenomenal, you know.
Mons, do you have any concerns with Arteta? Like, genuinely? Like, 4.5... Because remember, when he came in, he came in as a head coach. Then, very swiftly after, he then got that promotion to manager. Do you remember?
Yeah.
So, you know, we're talking about, inexperience and so forth. How long... Like, is he still learning? Do we still need to say, you know, here's another 3 years to learn? What's your stance on that? And with Arteta overall?
Yeah, he's definitely still learning, of course. This is his first manager job, and he's gone to the Arsenal. He's come to our club, and it's a big club, and he's going to be learning along the way. He's going to be making mistakes, learning, making mistakes, learning, and that's just it's like that in everything you do in life. So I think we do need to be a bit patient. I know a lot of fans, I know yourself and others, you know, say us 4 or 5 years, do we need to put a little question mark to see what's going on, and everyone's well within their rights to do that. But do you know what? For me, when I heard just on our I'll just read you his last speech that he said at the end of the game. Yeah, he said at the end of the last game, Everton at home, he said, I think now it's time to have a break. Think, reflect, and please keep pushing. Keep inspiring this team. Don't be satisfied because we want much more than that. And we're going to get it. Thank you so much. Do you know what? When I heard that, I just thought, he's going to win us something. Honestly, I, as a fan, personally, have not have an issue with our manager. I'm just disappointed that we go out of competitions early. That would be the main concern. The first couple of years when you come in, yes, he's learning. It's come in 8, whatever, 5th, 8th, whatever. But 2 years now we've competed. I just feel like the turnaround is, we weren't expecting to compete last year. We weren't even probably, you know, meant to be in top 6, top 4, really. But for us to push and then push again, I think it's getting closer. That's what it is. And I know we have a little laugh in the group chat and whatever, and you say it's round the corner, it's near, in the near future. You or something. No, but really.
It's true.
No. Now, seriously, it is. You've got to think, well, yes, it is. You know, he's saying the right things. For me, that speech, he said the right things. Not sitting there feeling sorry for himself. Oh, you know, the team done all they could. That didn't leave his mouth once. After every press conference, he's not feeling sorry. He's saying, look, weren't good enough. Going back and listening to his press conferences. You know what I mean? The highlight for me in that speech was, don't be satisfied. He's telling the whole Arsenal stadium, don't be satisfied. And that for me is enough. That for me, as a fan, is enough to give him more time. Yeah, in my opinion.
I've said this before, and I'll be real. I think the club have gone so far with Arteta in terms of backing and investment that I don't think they'll ever sack him. No matter what happens, they won't. Because nah. The only way I see him leaving is on his terms.
Yeah, yeah.
They've done so much. They've pushed the PR and everything to him that one day, someday, in the near future, it's round the corner. Can't quite tell you when, but we will win the Premier. And that's just my feeling. And I think I'll be real because I coach as well. You know, I non-league and youth football.
Yeah.
What Arteta as a coach has done, brilliant. Like everyone can see, he's smart. He knows what he knows football. He knows the tactics.
He knows. Yeah.
He can tell you everything about different phases. You know, methodology, strategies. He can, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a good manager. He's a great coach, but a manager for me, and I've said this 4 years ago, I am yet to see Arteta compete across 4 competitions for a whole season. That means balancing the squad, getting them rotation right, taking out Saka when he needed, bringing in Nelson or whatever it is, taking out Havertz, bringing Odegaard when needed, playing Jorginho against Liverpool last season when he should have, playing Kivior instead of Holding when he should have. It's getting those decisions correct across the whole season that I haven't seen him do. And no one has across the whole season because, again, it's proven because we haven't won anything.
No, I understand what you're saying.
He can manage a great 11, 100%. That 11 he's got bang on, but when Saka is hitting a brick wall, he needs to just blood Reece Nelson and say, do you know what? You're coming in for the next 3 games. This is what that you need. This is the information you need. You're gonna go to the one-to-one coach. You're gonna go with the analysis team. You're gonna be watching that. You know what I mean? Here are the tools. Go do it. Saka, rest, recover, and then you're gonna come in again. Do you know what I mean? Or we've seen it many times. The reason why we didn't do so well with Aston Villa because the players he brought in weren't up to speed.
No.
Why he didn't play well against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup because the rotations that he did, the fringe players, the squad players that came in weren't up to scratch because, you know, they weren't flowing. They didn't get enough minutes. That's because the minutes were given to the first 11. And that's my point. A manager manages the whole squad, the needs, the wants of the whole squad, not just 11, 12 players, not just in one competition. Because remember, there was a season, and I think what backs my point is when when we finished, I think when we finished second last year, were we in the Europa League? Remember, he crashed us out.
Yeah.
There was a year we weren't in Europe. That means we weren't playing midweek games.
Yeah, but we had long gaps, didn't we?
Yeah, and we did well that season because he only really needed to manage 13, 14 players.
Yeah.
But to go into the last stages of each competition and still challenge and win the Premier League, you can't just have 11 players. You can't. So my point with Arteta and management, this is his first role. Arteta, I mean, not Arteta, company, Xavi, this Maresca guy, these guys have learned under Pep, but they didn't get a big job straight away after sitting next to Pep. They went to another club, a lower league club. I know Xavi was at Real Sociedad B team.
Yeah.
Company went to Anderlecht. These guys were doing their apprenticeship. They were learning. They were getting things wrong at a smaller club. We went straight to Pep, got his assistant, and said, "You are our guy." Now, I didn't pressure him in the first season. The half season, it was just whatever it is. The first full season was whatever it is. But then we now have to. We can't keep saying he's learning. It's his first job. We can't keep doing that because you've chosen that. So then it needs to come true at some point. It needs to come true now. It can't 3-4 years down the line keep saying, "Oh, you know, he's a great coach. Give him time." Time's ticking, my friends, man. But he's a great coach. We know that. I'm not going to deny that. But managing a squad an elite squad over 4 competitions over a full season. I am yet to see it.
I mean, I can't really argue with what your points are and what you're saying. Is it fair to say, look, you know, tactics wise at times and substitute wise have been questionable? Yeah, but don't you think we can cut him a bit of slack because, for example, how you put it about the Reece Nelson thing, that it's not up I think Arteta knows in his head, if he brings Nelson in, it's not the same. It's not the same. He knows, but he's looking at the bench thinking, probably, I'm just assuming, but, you know, 9 times out of 10, he's probably thinking, look at my squad. Look, who can I choose? Looking at his bench, like, who can I choose to affect the game, like a Saka or someone, just to, you know what I mean? Nelson, yeah, he looks lively sometimes when he comes on, but, you know, he's not clinical, or he's not, you know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe it's the calmness in me, but sometimes I feel like he hasn't got everything that he needs.
Mons, I'm gonna have to jump in. I'm so sorry. Why can Pep bring in Oscar Bob from the academy? Why can Klopp bring in Connor Bradley from the academy?
It depends how badly some players want it.
So then are you saying
sometimes you have to sometimes you do have to put a question mark on players as well, and I don't think that gets spoken about enough at all. It's and that annoys me sometimes, you know. It depends. I'm watching you come on, for example, let's just say a player comes on the pitch, and your body language, the way you run in, the way you're tracking back, the way you're impacting the game, you can tell how badly players want it, and that plays a part as well. If you are not getting played, if you are not getting minutes, you're obviously you need to up your game as well. I think it also, we don't see everything behind the scenes. We don't see training. We don't see this. We don't see that. We don't see what they're doing. They are not getting picked for some reason. We don't know. We can just assume and juggle about, and, you know, but in my, like, the Oscar Bob and all that, they want it. You can see they want it. Look how they're playing. That's the answer I've got for you. That's the only answer I've got. It depends how bad you want it, and that can't always be on the manager's head. It just can't. It can't. I'm sorry. It can't.
No. It can't. But again, my point of managing a whole squad over a whole season, over 4 competitions, he can't do it. Still stands. It's not just one season. This is years that we've seen Arteta not being able to manage the fringe players. So when I said we have a great starting 11 and he's coached them to a T and they all know what they're doing, what about the 5 other players?
Yeah. I get it.
How does, and this is where management skill comes in.
Yeah. Of course.
To manage a Reece Nelson, to manage a Emil Smith Rowe, to manage
his job. Yeah.
His job. And I would get that point if it was just a half season or one season that this has happened. Then I was like, oh, these players are falling off. But it's a consistent period where I'm thinking, right, okay, cool, you're the manager now.
Yeah.
Like you've seen this issue with Reece Nelson years ago. Then, so like, what has changed? Like, where's the trust? Rico Lewis coming in. Are you telling me, like, Reece Nelson can't have an impact like that or play a better role than they have? You know what I mean? And that's what it is. It might just having to give them that extra fire, that extra hug, that love that certain players need. We know certain players. You can, for me, you can see that him shouting at a Declan Rice, he can handle that. You know what I mean? Declan Rice probably don't need hug. As an example. But Reece Nelson might. You know what I mean? Emil Smith Rowe might not want a hug or shouting. He might just want a couple high fives. As an example, I'm just using these.
Yeah. You
points,
use the little things.
how
Yeah.
certain players need different things to thrive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where he's got the starting 11 working and playing hard, right? How do I get the best out of Reece Nelson? Saka, he's burnt out. He's burnt out. I need to rotate him out. I need to give him a rest. How do I give that belief to Reece Nelson? And that's what a manager is, of course. And this is not me saying Reece Nelson isn't accountable, but as the manager, you have to look at, when you look at your squad sheet and you look at training, you know what Saka brings. Okay, what do I need to do and give to Reece Nelson to let him come in and not look out of place? And that is where management is, thrives. And that's that's why my point is he needs to know the wants and the personality traits of certain players, and that's why he hasn't done it. So
it's a shame, really, because they could have. There's some good players in our on the bench. It's good. We've got good subs. We've got good players as a whole, But it's just, you're right, getting the best out of them. But I also think it's about the players taking accountability and thinking, do you know what? I need to go hard. I need to show. I need to do something different. Like, as a player as well, it's your duty, your job to go behind the scenes, work hard, get more. So there's nothing stopping you also from doing that and asking and approaching. But at the same time, that's Arteta's job to notice these things and and use the tools and the support. It's swings. It's all swings and roundabouts, really. It's swings and roundabouts, because it's just a fine line.
I'm going to say this, right? Emil Smith Rowe plays for, let's say, he came through the Newcastle ranks, for example.
Yeah.
Right? We would be looking at him as a potential target. Let's be real. Young England international, he's got,
for sure.
We would be, but we haven't with us, so get the best out of him. Reece Nelson, I can see him, he's come from South London. I can see him playing for Palace, bossing it up, like the same how Eze and Elise are doing for Palace. I can see Reece Nelson, however old he is, I'm pretty sure he's under 24, isn't he? Yeah. Let's say he's at Palace, he's lighting it up. I can see us going in for Reece Nelson. Eddie Nketiah, let's say he was in playing for RB Leipzig. He scored 13 goals for RB Leipzig. We would be in for Eddie, for example, right? This is an example of the players, Reece Nelson and Emil Smith Rowe, for example, more so, are good players that we have that could and should be enough to come off the bench and do a job when called upon in the season. Eddie, I think he's probably had more chances than the others, and he hasn't hit it. That's fine. But definitely a Reece Nelson and an ESR, they should have been enough and sufficient enough in our cup competitions, just in my opinion. And I remember a point that I was going to say about the Prem. I think I'm very harsh on the group chat, but more time I'm just on a banter thing, like genuinely. But the Premier League, 2 years in a row, we've done exceptionally well, right? We haven't won it, but I'm using context here. Where we've come from to where we are now in the last 2 years, Premier League, just Premier League, I'm not complaining too much about. I'm not. You can go in a group chat. I'm not complaining about that too much. I'm more as an overall season, 4 competitions that we're in, coming out with nothing. That's mainly my point.
Yeah.
That's mainly where I'm standing from. The Premier League, I can see the effort Arteta has done and achieved with the squad to get to where we are now, to then next year win it. I can see that. But I cannot just sit here and be like, oh yeah, we've done well in the Prem, let's forget about the other cups. I don't think we have any right to do so. We don't have any right to turn up our nose on the FA Cup. FA Cup that we've won the most times in this country. A Carabao Cup that, the last time we played in it, Pep beat us. Remember, it's all in their documentary. Pep really, he was so hungry and determined to beat Arsene Wenger in a Carabao Cup. the same cup that we're now sitting there saying we don't need. Not we,
Yeah.
but the majority of fans saying we don't need.
To
Why?
dismiss. Yeah.
Why? That's my whole point. The Premier League, obviously, that we've done well in that, but coming out 4 seasons with nothing, losing to Villarreal, Olympiacos, Sevilla, I can't remember who it was. In the Sporting Lisbon, that's it, in the Europa League. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable, man. Arsene Wenger lost to Atletico Madrid in the Europa League.
Yeah.
Emery lost to Chelsea in the final in the Europa League. We've got knocked out to Olympiacos, Villarreal, and Sporting Lisbon, and in one season we weren't in it. Come on, you know what I mean? Like, let's get to finals. Let's give these players the taste of big pressure games and lights and trophies and win that. So then a 2-year phase of challenging for the Premier League, we're saying, do you know what? We're booting down the door. 3rd year challenging, we're going to win it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely agree. We can't dismiss cup competitions, in my opinion. I think next year you will take it seriously. I don't know why we don't play well in the cup competitions. I really don't. It's like how we play in the cup competitions. I don't really recognise that kind of football. I think who's playing? Like what's this is not the Arsenal. I don't know what it is about these cup competitions, but we do not play well in them at all. I don't know if it's just players turning their nose up at it, or the managers just don't take it seriously, and the big drop off with the subs or whatever. But I just think we need to really up our game on the cup competitions. It's appalling. It's not good. It isn't good.
Yeah, I think what you were saying about the cups, I can already hear excuses of why we didn't do well in cups, and part of it is true, is that the squad depth wasn't good enough, right? So part of that is true, right? Okay, cool. Which is then why I said this summer we can't keep behaving sentimental to players that are not good enough for Arsenal. What's the point? What's the point of just having certain players around? Oh, we can't get 5 players because we don't have the money. Well, sell Eddie. Well, sell ESR. Sell these players to then bring in better quality, so we don't have any excuses. I don't see why we can't get 5 very good players, 2 players or 3 players. Let's say more so 2 players in the centre mid and forward position that gives us that same feeling that we got when Özil or Aubameyang or Alexis Sanchez came in. When we signed them, how we were down at the Emirates when Özil came in. I remember I was with my mate. We were gassed. Alexis Sanchez came in. I think we need 2 players that would give us that feeling. Because let's be honest, if we're getting that feeling of when Özil came in and Alexis Sanchez came in, the players are getting that feeling. The players are like, oh, what we got. Rodrigo, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or a play, we signed a player. Oh, we got an unknown brother from Austria. We're not. Do you see what I'm saying? We need to give ourselves that feeling, and also the players, because then they know, like it's serious. If Saka sees a player of his ilk or maybe better coming in his position,
might raise the level.
Raise the level, man. Raise the level for sure. And that's where we need to get to. So we don't have the repeat excuse of, oh, we don't have the squad depth to challenge for the Cup or FA Cup. That's why we're just putting all our eggs in the Premier League basket. Bigger fish to fry nonsense.
It's
like
true.
I said, Pep relished. He loved the Carabao Cup. Who are we to say no to it?
We need to be turning around and looking at our bench and being like, we've got a whole second team there ready to compete in all comps. That's what we need. We can't be just competing for the league and not doing anything elsewhere. There's no, to me, it's not competing at the full potential. It's competing, but it's not, that's not hunger. It's not, you need to treat, for me, in my opinion, You need to look at other competitions and say, we can, I want this. I want it. You want everything. That's what you need. That's the mentality. I think it's a mentality thing. It's a hunger thing. It's a passion thing. You can't just, shrug your shoulders up and turn your nose up at the cup competitions. We need to be hungry in all competitions.
Yeah.
Look at City's bench. I'm not saying we need to copy and paste, but we need to have clinical quality on the pitch. I need you to come in off the bench and just blow that team, just blow our minds and be like, wow, I need that. Like you said, just on that Alexis and the Ozil. That's what we need. You're right.
Yeah, we need that feeling, man. And I want to bring a couple of points up that I was saying in a group chat about the FA Cup and Carabao Cup and so forth.
Yeah.
There is a big difference of winning, a FA Cup or Carabao Cup as a one-off, for example, right? Versus winning it a part of a process that we're in. So, fans will say, oh, Man United won a Carabao Cup last year and FA Cup this year. What have they done? But they're not on the same path and trajectory and stability that we are. Them winning the FA Cup and Carabao Cup is different to us winning it in part of our process. It will do us and this young squad so much good and connectivity and gelling and belief, as Benji said earlier on, belief to push on even more.
Yeah.
So Ten Hag won the FA Cup and so forth, but us winning it will also help. It cannot do any work. It can't do bad winning the FA Cup. A part of this current process, it can't. It's surely not. Not with, we won it in 2020. That didn't really do much for us because that whole squad's gone. But adding a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup to this current squad will only do us good. It will do Arteta good. It will do the fans good. It will do the players good for sure.
Yeah, I agree. We need to push on. We need to push on. Let's move on. Listen. Who's been your? I mean, you've probably got loads, but I'm going to give you two players. Yeah, who do you think's been your standout players? Or if you've got more, you can say more. But the ones that have just stood out from the front line and been like that person.
I think standout has to be Rice, because and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a very long while since we've had a player come in and hit the ground running. More time when we see a player, Mons, they're new to the league, or let them gel in, settle in. That nonsense. And that's what I think. We need to get to a point now where the players that we're bringing in hit the ground running. There's no excuses, gelling time and new team. Nah, nonsense. Elite players, the big players, they don't need settling in periods. They'll come in, be very effective. And I think Rice has done that for us incredibly. He's played so much minutes. He's more game. He's playing 85 minutes, 80 minutes plus, if not 90 more game. He scored some couple good goals as well. Chelsea, incredible. He scored against United. Very, very good. Saliba, I think, has been very influential in that back line, 100%, because we like to be patient in the build-up, which means a lot of the back line and midfielders will see more of the ball. And it's important that the back line are comfortable in possession and making those progressive passes and progressing the ball up the pitch, dribbles or whatever it is, and sometimes being calm. Sometimes, look, we've had Mustafi on the ball and he's shanking it here and shanking it. Do you remember there was a game? Sorry, it just came to my mind. Mustafi went on a weird run. And he crossed it. It was weird, but anyway, we have good players at the back now.
Yeah.
And I, if I'm honest, I think Odegaard, man. I think Odegaard, Rice, and Saliba for me has been outstanding. Honourable mentions have to be Ben White. Definitely have to be Ben White, and of course Saka. I think the numbers he's put in, with the amount of minutes he's had to play, overworked, etc. He'll be playing for us, and then Gareth calls him up. Then he's playing, England and everything. With what he's been doing as a young player with the demands that's asked of him, I think the numbers is incredible. So honourable mention, and I guess Havertz. I guess Havertz as well. More so second half of the season, but I think that's because Arteta didn't know what to do with him in the first half of the season. If I'm honest.
Up front, I think he's done well.
Yeah, but I think for us, I think that spine of Saliba, Rice, and Odegaard are standout plays for me.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree. For me, it's Declan Rice. That's just, I can't praise him any more than I'm already praising him. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. The way we just look so solid with him in that midfield, and I think Rice and Odegaard really complement each other. Odegaard is playing the football that I've been seeing from Odegaard is it's just been out of this world. I know people might say there's another argument, well, that don't win you anything, but I mean, it contributes to something, clearly. So yeah, really, really big performances from the whole Arsenal squad this season. The last question I want to ask you, Dwight. Will Arsenal win the league next season?
We have to.
Will we?
I think where we are in this project phase, youth process, the timings, what's been invested, the backing, because let's be real, it's not just been financial backing, it's been, he's been given a lot of power and control and say a lot of things. Unai Emery never even got any of that. He didn't get any financial backing. He didn't get any power support, nothing. So with what Arteta has been given, where we are now, specifically in the last 2 years, and who we have to add in this season, this summer, we have to win the Premier League. We have to.
Yeah.
That would be my answer. We have to win the Premier League.
Because you'd think that we would, considering we're 2 points off, we're only getting closer. And will Man City drop off? That's a different question. That's a different argument for another day. But I do think we need to win it next season. There's no doubt about it. And we just need to push in all comps.
Do you know what's mad? Just quickly, last season we could have lost twice to City and still have won the league. This season that just finished, we didn't lose to them at all and didn't win the league. So if we're saying, right, they won the league in the fashions that they did, they're going to add more. That means we're still three quality players behind. So we need to, or 3 steps behind in a way. So we need to bridge that 3 steps whilst they're still progressing. So we can't just say, oh, just add 3 players, because we may still be in a position next year where we will finish 2 points behind them.
Yeah.
So we need to add whatever we need to add, so then we finish 1 point ahead.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't see us finishing 10 points ahead of City. 5, you know what I mean? It won't be that gap unless like the unthinkable happens and they crash and burn or whatever it is. We finished, was it? I can't remember how many points behind them last season. This season that just finished, it was what was it? 3 points or something like that. 5.
5, I think. I'm sure it was 5.
It was. So the gap finishing behind them is closing.
Yeah.
But we can't wait until it's 2 points, then 1 point, then we finish on level, but they still win on goal. We can't wait on that. We got to say
we need to just be ahead. We need to
finish 1 point ahead because because of how far ahead they are and how experienced they are, for example. You know what I mean? So that's just my belief on it, man.
I definitely agree. We have to. A lot of transfer rumours, a lot's going on. It's the transfer season. I can't wait for the transfer window to open. I'm really intrigued, really interested to see what players we're going to bring in. All I know is I want to see a striker be coming through that door. Who it is, God only knows. There's a lot of rumours about a lot of players at the minute. Isaac and Tesco and the rest of it. I doubt Newcastle will sell any of their good players. Maybe, but you know, let's see what happens, Dwight. This season, let's see what happens next season. We have to win the league next season. I mean, can you just imagine? Can you just imagine we don't win the league and we fall short again, and then we win like a cup competition that everyone's been talking about? You know what I mean? Like, would you be satisfied with that? For example, we finished say third, fourth, and we won the FA Cup. That's what you see what I'm saying? It's like, I want the league.
If we finish third next season and win the FA Cup, that season would have been acceptable for us 2 seasons ago. We can't do
We can't
do something next season that we should have done in this process 2 years. We can't do that and then be accepted. We can't do that. Let's come on, man.
Yeah, it's real.
So now it's literally we have to win the Prem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll even say you have to add a cup to that, or a final at least. You know what I mean? A final. You know what I mean?
Final.
A final and the Prem. You've got to do that. Also remember the Champions League is going to be harder this year as well. It's going to be a new format, something that no one has ever experienced before. So we don't know how that's going to come out for us.
And it like four more games or something, isn't it?
Along those lines, yeah. And I think we're playing like different seeded, and we're playing. You know, we could play whatever it is. I don't know what they've done. They've sort of butchered it anyway. But that's another.
Yeah, they have.
Again, the format is new to everyone, so we don't know how that's going to affect. Which is another reason why I say we need 5 starters.
Yeah, I get you.
Otherwise, we'll be in the same cycle of not having enough quality players.
Yeah.
The players let Arteta down.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you. We do, and people might say, we don't need the extra. We don't need an extra. Like, people might say we can 3 players we need, but we don't need the extra 2. But the extra 2 will help us not only in the league and other comps. So I do now, really reflecting on it. I do hear you. We need as much as possible. We need to get over the line. We need to be in front of City. We don't want to be chasing. I don't want to be chasing City next season. I want to be already ahead and just up. I don't want to have to be chasing, because that chasing time, we could have been in the front and already be well and truly ahead. That to me is just time wasting. I don't want all that. I want to be in front and stay in front. Just stay in front. Keep looking forward. Keep looking forward and just keeping that buffer, just so we've got a little cushion. And if we finish 1 point ahead, you know.
The days of buying a Pablo Mari, Cedric Suarez, a Fabio Vieira, the days of those type of players,
it's well and truly over, surely.
It has to be, which is why, again, bringing in the quality players now is important.
For real.
Type of players and then expecting to keep challenging City. And I have to say, we have to get to a point where next season we finish 1 point ahead because of how the gap is.
Yeah.
To get to a point where we've beat them by 1 point. I think I said from maybe March, I had a belief that we will finish on the same points, but we will do goal difference. That was my belief.
Yeah.
That genuinely thought that.
You weren't
but
far off.
Again, we have to do what we can to close the gap and then 1 point ahead.
Yeah.
While we're still closing the gap or trying to close the gap, City are still closing that gap. So the gap still's the same. So we have to do something to get us to close the gap and then 1 point ahead. And then we can say, okay, cool. Then it will be, 2-3 points where we start finishing and etc. And then, we'll see where we are at that point.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Considering, Arteta said that speech at the end of the last game, I'm hoping that he's on the same. Well, to me, it sounds like he's on the same page as as us fans. Again, the highlight: don't be satisfied. So we will see by the transfers. We'll see by the activity going on in the transfers and what's going on this year. Looking forward to the new season starting. People, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, put the notification bell on so you get updated with the latest videos and content. There'll be a lot more content next year, so make sure you subscribe, people. Dwight, it's been a pleasure. Thank you as well, Benji, for those that are watching.
Yeah.
He had to hop off. So yeah, Dwight, it's been, a pleasure having you. Benji also on the channel. We're gonna win the league.
We have to.
Not soon, maybe in the near future. No, I'm joking. No, but we will. Believe Dwight, we will.
We will.
We'll do this, man. We'll do this. But yeah. Thank you, my people. Thank you for